tuned into local radio 91.3 Keppel FM. Thanks for joining us on Coffee and a Chat, where we focus on the CapCoast community with a look at who we are, what we do, and what matters to us. I'm your host, Melinda. You can tune in every Monday at 10 a.m. or catch a repeat at 2 p.m. on Tuesday or 10 a.m. on Wednesday. The very lovely Cate is back with me today, and we'll be chatting about art, music and, well, sleep. Carol's going to be in later to talk about what's happening at U3A this week, and we'll start off today with a bit of news. First up, the World Health Organization tells us that in 2022, 30% of adults worldwide did not meet the recommended levels of activity, and that's 5% more adults not doing recommended activities than a decade earlier. Lack of exercise has a negative impact on health in general, and in particular on cancer, heart disease and mental well-being. People over 60 in particular are less active than younger adults. The WHO is calling on countries to set targets for physical activity for adults. In another story about exercise, this one from the research journal The Lancet, we see that adults with lower back pain benefit enormously from walking regularly. It turns out that 800 million people worldwide have lower back pain. It's a leading cause of disability and reduced quality of life. All manner of expensive treatments can be prescribed, but walking is cheap and is among the best of them. Regular walking leads to longer pain-free periods and greater strength. And finally, a study at Virginia Tech, which was recently published in Nature, compared exercise to medicines for a range of health issues, including non-alcoholic fatty liver, inflammatory bowel disease, cardiovascular health, and tissue recovery. The study found that exercise caused thousands of changes in regulation of the immune system, metabolism, stress responses, and mitochondrial pathways. Lead researcher Dr. Yan said that no single medicine could have such positive, long-lasting, system-wide impacts. He concluded that the impact of exercise is better than any single medicine. Coming up in a moment, Kate's going to be with us to talk about the world of art here on the CapCoast.
This is a song about, I think, a feeling that we all get at times in our lives. Well, you know that feeling you get where you feel like you're the smallest doll in a babushka doll? This is a song about that. This is my earth, and I live in it. It's 1/3 dirt and 2/3 water, and it rotates and revolves through space at a rather unimpressive pace, and never even messes up my hair. And here's a really weird thing: the force created by its spin is the force that stops the chaos flooding in. This is my earth, and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect. This is my house, and I live in it. It's made of cracks and photographs we rented off a guy who bought it from a guy who bought it from a guy whose granddad left it to him. And the weirdest thing is that this house has locks to keep the baddies out, but they're mostly used to lock ourselves in. This is my house and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect, but it's mine. This is my body and I live in it. It's 32 and 8 months old. It's changed a lot since it was new. It's done stuff it wasn't built to do. I often try to fill it up with wine, and the weirdest thing about it is I spend so much time hating it, but it never says a bad word about me. This is my body and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect. This is my brain and I live in it. It's made of love and bad song lyrics. It's tucked away behind my eyes, where all my fucked up thoughts can hide. 'Cause God forbid I hurt somebody. And the weirdest thing about a mind is that every answer that you find is the basis of a brand new cliche. This is my brain and it's fine. It's where I spend the vast majority of my time. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect, but it's mine. It's not perfect. I'm not quite sure I've worked out how to work it. It's not perfect, but it's mine. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thanks.
That was Tim Minchin live from 2013 with Not Perfect.
For all your banking needs on the Capricorn Coast, call into the local Bendigo Bank at Hill Street, Emu Park. Phone number 49.
Department of Justice and the Attorney General and the Emu Park RSL. This is a community announcement.
At Intersport Yeppoon, we are committed to offering the best products from the best brands at the best prices. We are locally owned, but part of the world's largest sporting retail group, which makes us the experts. Always ready to help you select the perfect shoes, the right apparel, and the best equipment. Ring us on 49302438 438 or check us out at 59 Tamby Road, Yeppoon, or on our Facebook page. Whatever your age or ability, we'd like to bring sport to you. Intersport Yeppoon, a happy sponsor of Keppel FM 91.3.
You're listening to Coffee and a Chat on 91.3 Keppel FM. One of the things that I find truly amazing here on the CapCoast is that no matter who you start chatting to, they have an interesting story. They have a rich knowledge in some niche area. Everyone has something to share. Cate is a member of U3A and is one of our newly minted locals. A few weeks ago, Cate was in to chat about stories in the news. Today we're going to start by talking about her love of art and what she's discovered here on the coast.
Something that I have found very interesting living in this area, only having lived here for coming up 5 years, and I have to say I love it here. I've been amazed and really thrilled at the amount of opportunities for the arts. I'm a passionate music lover, and I also love works of art and drama and musical productions and that sort of thing. So it's been my passion for pretty much my whole life. But with the art, I've got no skill whatsoever, but I just love beautiful artworks, and I just think it's wonderful here that we have the Emu Park Art Gallery, the Fig Tree Gallery, and also a lot of very capable local artists. For example, our very own Carol Petherick and Brian Keogh and others who I don't know by name, but they've recently had a local artists exhibition sponsored by the Rockhampton Art Society at the Emu Park Gallery, and I went along and I was really, really impressed with the standard of local artists, and very much enjoyed it. I think it's fantastic that they are promoted and exhibited around the place, because at home we've got artworks on every wall of our house, probably a little bit crowded, but lots of Australian artists. We've got Pro and Julie Hart, Norman Lindsay, several Indigenous works that we've bought around the place when we've travelled, and some of them are originals, which is really, really precious.
Yes.
And a lot of prints, of course. Yeah. The originals have often been signed by the artist, or we've been able to buy them from the actual artist. So here in Australia, and a couple of beautiful ones from a Navajo Indian artist in Mexico. So just that sort of range of beautiful art, and it's lovely to have it at home, but it's also lovely to have different changing exhibitions here in our local area. And also the ADFAS lectures and workshops, which I've been to a few of. Don't ask me what that stands for. I should have checked this out, but it's basically art and design for artists in the area. They run regular lectures and workshops yearly, and you can go as a member or as a guest. And the topics are absolutely stunning. They really are. They have lecturers from overseas. I've been to a couple with a curator from one of the main art galleries in London, and going to another one shortly.
So these are local events?
Yes, they're in Rockhampton, and a couple of times they actually hold them here in Yeppoon, which is so handy. So it's an hour lecture. There's a printed program. You can see exactly what you're going to be getting, but the calibre of presenter is extremely high and very, very interesting. They're terrific presenters, and I've really enjoyed going to those as well.
I haven't heard of any of these events. Are they well attended?
I guess they're attended by those who know, which makes sense, doesn't it? Actually, our friend Carol, again, got me into this and helped me to decide and work out which ones I would like to go to. And so we've been to a few together, and I really appreciated having that extra outlet for that sort of arty gene, I guess, that I have. While I cannot draw or paint, I really can't. Yeah. But I do love beautiful works of art.
Yes, right. It's amazing that this quality of lecture, this quality of material, art is available just so locally, either here or in Rockhampton.
It is mostly attended by the members who know.
Yes.
But maybe some more widespread advertising or promoting would be good, because they go to a lot of trouble to get these really, really professional and very interesting speakers.
I think it's a real deficit in our area generally. I often find out about an event after it's come and gone.
Yes, so do we, and especially since losing our local newspapers, which we were very much reliant on. But often it's word of mouth too, isn't it? You find out from your mutual friends and a friend of a friend, or you happen to see it on Facebook.
Yes, and it would be better if it wasn't quite so accidental, if there was purposeful advertising. I guess there's often an expense, but social media, Why not
Yes.
flood social media every now and then with some of this information?
Absolutely, because there is so much around in this little area. It's really wonderful.
Who knew there was so much going on? Cate will be back with us shortly.
G'day, I'm Kath, and I love listening to Keppel FM on the Capricorn Coast.
I'm totally addicted to bass.
Kate's back to share with us some of the things she loves and what she's discovered here on the coast.
And another area in which there is so much available is music, which is my main passion. Always has been my whole life. Having taught it and played it, it's just been very important to me. So moving here as a retiree, it was very important for me to have access to high standards of performance and also my own ability to be involved in, musical groups in the area, and it's been terrific.
So what sort of instruments do you play?
I'm a piano player. I have a very, very, very basic grip on guitar, ukulele, recorder. And I must just say on that note, I had my first visit with the local U3A recorder group yesterday. Very, very small group, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Haven't played recorder since school days, probably. But it's lovely. And so there's things like that available. Recorder group, there's 4 choirs that I know of in the area, one of which I belong to. It is just really, really lovely to have the arts so prominent in this little community.
I think it's very easy to disregard it, thinking, it's just very local. How could there be any talent, or how could there be any reasonable level of attainment, I guess. It is nice to hear that there's quality music, there's quality art, quality lecturers.
And they're not all older people. I mean, obviously a lot of retirees, like myself perhaps, have a wealth of experience in certain areas. And once you get involved with some of these groups, you realise that there are some amazingly talented people around.
Yes.
You just, as you say, you just don't know until you perhaps hear by word of mouth, or you get to know various people who introduce you to others. And that's the sense of community as well. You do get to find things out. And I have been so warmly welcomed everywhere. It's been lovely.
It is a lovely community, isn't it? And it's surprising the depth and the range of talent that's in our community.
Yes, indeed. We were talking earlier, the Rockhampton Symphony Orchestra, I was absolutely amazed at the very high standard of their musicians and their playing. Their concerts are really worth going to.
Right.
And also, of course, the Pilbeam Theatre has lots of national and international visiting artists. They have a marvellous array, and if you just get onto their website, there's things on all the time. Local things like the Morning Melodies, even those, they're very, very high standard of performance. We have ballets, we have opera, and I think it's really important that we as locals support these artists who put us on their regional tour list, and I think if we don't support them, they won't come. It's been a little bit disappointing sometimes. You go to a concert there and, okay, it's only on for one night because that's how the tour works. But the theatre's a third full, a half if you're lucky, and it feels a little bit embarrassing thinking, I wish more people had come for these fabulous performers.
So again, that might be the publicity angle.
It could well be.
And I think another thing, occasionally I do hear about some of these events. I miss a lot more than I hear about, I think. And when I do hear about them, sometimes it's too late. But when I think about going, I think, do I really want to get involved in finding a car park? Do I really want to battle traffic?
Well, it's an interesting comment because I have found no problem with either. Peak hour in Rockhampton, I don't really think it exists, or if it does, I've not been there. But even so, not an issue at all. There's plenty of parking at the Pilbeam, enormous number of parking spots at the back in their car park, as well as street parking. There are also some very lovely places to eat within walking distance of the theatre.
Right.
So often we do that. We'll go in and have a nice meal, and they know you're going to the theatre, so they make sure you're out in time.
So you park your car, that's fairly easy.
Yes,
you wander off, have a lovely meal.
And wander back. Yeah, it's a very pleasant evening. And I don't really like driving at night, but we manage.
Yes, right, yeah. So I've brought my big city aesthetic with me, haven't I?
You have, and we all do. We all do.
Yeah.
And it's like when we do go to, say, to Brisbane to something, that's where I freak out with the traffic and the parking.
Yes. I've just got myself bound up in something in Brisbane. My kids are taking me off to see Crowded House.
Oh, I saw that advertised at QPAC.
Yes,
yes. Oh, I'd love to go
and
to that.
I kind of looked at it and thought, oh, no, I couldn't be bothered getting down to Brisbane, going through the traffic, but they're going to whisk off their old mother. And
Excellent children.
Yes.
No, that would be wonderful. I love the music of Crowded House.
Yes, yeah.
I must admit, if we go to something in Brisbane, we would tend to make it an overnighter just to make it more relaxing. And
I think you have to, yes.
Make it a bit of a trip.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's a good chance for us to go and see the grandkids anyway.
Oh, I'm sure it would be absolutely lovely.
Yeah. Oh, I have noticed traffic issues in Rockhampton. Only one time though, and it was during Beef Week. It was insane.
That I can actually well imagine. Beef Week is enormous.
Yes. I was shocked. We ended up in peak hour traffic.
Oh.
We were taking our car in to be serviced and bumper to bumper.
Well, that doesn't surprise me really now that you say that. It's such a gigantic international event here in Rocky, isn't it?
Right. So I shouldn't judge the rest of the year.
No, look, I really don't think so. It's so easy to find your way around Rockhampton as well. I always have a fear of getting lost, turning down the wrong street and not knowing where I am, but I really don't think you can do that in Rockhampton. It's so well laid out.
I have done that actually. I was following a GPS once. I think it was in Frankfurt, in Germany somewhere anyway. And the GPS took us straight into the river. Like if we followed it, we would be in the river. Yeah, so
the GPS can do that, it seems. They haven't quite caught up.
This was a few years ago, and another time we were on one of the motorways and we realised we were going the wrong direction, so we thought we'll get off it, go around, get on it again, and we ended up on a different motorway, which we got off and ended up on a different one.
Golly.
And then we had to pull up to a milk bar somewhere, to a little shop, and I had to dig into my high school German because this person had no English.
Oh,
and say, look, I'm going here. How do I get there?
Yes, yeah. It's quite the thing, international travel, isn't it? I think you're very brave driving overseas.
Yeah, well,
it's quite the challenge, I would imagine.
Yes, well, they've got the wrong side of the road.
Well, they do. That's right.
Yes. Cate will be back shortly.
Does your house or property say blah, drab and ordinary? I need a fresh look. Then Keith Beck Painters is the team you need to give it life. With 40 years experience and a website full of well-known commercial and residential buildings that he has transformed inside and out, Keith Beck will give you quality, attention to detail and an exceptional finish. So quit with the drab and dreary and go to keithbeckpainters.com.au to get a free quote. Keith Beck Painters, a proud sponsor of Keppel FM.
Living on the coast is great, for me that is, but not for my car. The sun, the salt, bat droppings, and that's just the outside. That's why I've just dropped my car into Prestige Detailing around in Industrial Avenue. As CQ's premier car detailers, they have a range of packages that will have your vehicle looking and smelling like new, inside and out. Give them a ring on 4939 3330 or drop in to 13 Industrial Avenue, Yeppoon. Prestige Detailing on Keppel FM 91.3.
You're listening to Coffee and a Chat on 91.3 Keppel FM. My name's Melinda. Cate's back, but for a bit of a change-up, I'm going to share some information that I heard recently and found quite surprising. I was reading a story about sleep. I wasn't reading it, I was listening to an interview between a doctor and a neuroscientist talking about sleep. And the doctor was asking about REM sleep, which is traditionally thought of as the period during which you dream. So the idea is that we go through 4 stages of sleep. One of them is REM, which is rapid eye movement. And during that period is when you dream, and we go through this cycle several times a night. So he was asking specifically about REM, and the neuroscientist pointed out that, well, in fact, you can dream at any stage of the sleep cycle. It's not just confined to the REM period. Actually, one thing about REM sleep that kind of frightens me is your body is fairly rigid. In fact, they talk about paralysis.
Oh, really?
During REM, yes, yeah. And another thing that the neuroscientist was talking about was the idea that we often dream about being chased or falling or things like this. And when we do that, which can be during any period of our sleep, often in REM, but could be at different periods, that our heart rate increases, our breathing gets faster and shallower, and that we're producing adrenaline. And so for people that have these kind of dreams repeatedly, they can wake up feeling quite exhausted, even though they've had 7-8 hours sleep.
I can completely concur with that.
Right.
Yes, I mean, dreaming, I tend to sort of dream most nights, all night. It's what it feels like anyway.
Yeah.
And often it'll be a dream, as you say, where you are being chased or you're falling or something's happening that would make your heart rate increase.
Yes.
And sometimes you do wake up and think, oh, thank goodness that was a dream, and you feel quite unsettled.
Yes.
Because they're so real.
That's right. Well, I've woken up in a panic and then it's taken a little while, like a moment, to realise, oh, hang on, I was dreaming. This wasn't real, but my heart's still racing.
And you feel quite relieved. And as the researcher said, you can feel quite exhausted if you've been running around all night, being chased or having difficult things to deal with.
Yeah, and the doctor and the neuroscientist was discussing the issue that you might go to your doctor saying, look, I'm sleeping, but I'm just exhausted. I don't feel refreshed. And so then they're going to start looking at your bed. Is it too hard? Is it too soft? Your sleep habits. Are you looking at social media while you're in bed? They're going to look at all of these kinds of things, but traditionally they don't ask you about your dreams.
That's true, and I must admit I tend to try and do all the right things, get plenty of sleep because I like sleeping, plenty of rest and, all the right things before and after. But those dreams, they keep coming.
Do you tend to remember your dreams?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Usually the ones that are perhaps a bit frightening or, where things are happening that you are anxious about or are, causing you distress.
Yeah.
I tend to remember those.
Yeah.
The ones that are a little bit more wishy-washy, which don't happen very often, unfortunately,
Right. Yeah.
they tend to blur and you can't quite hang on to them.
Yes, yeah. You do forget very quickly. As a kid, I used to often dream about flying, but as an adult, it's far more running, being chased, being fearful. And I think that if I'm about to fall off the edge of a cliff or something, that's when I wake up. So I wake up mid-dream, so I'm more likely to remember it, I think.
Yes, that could be. And it is interesting what you dream about. I sometimes still dream that I haven't studied for these exams and I haven't done enough piano practice,
Right,
and the exam's next week, and what was I thinking? And it's funny because I've always studied and I've always practiced. So it's, I guess, a bit of a subconscious thing coming through, isn't it? Thinking, this isn't actually based in reality, but obviously it's a fear that's there.
Yes, and often if you start a new job, I think that you might go over the procedures a fair bit when you're sleeping. Yeah. One thing they said was that it's very rare to dream of maths. People don't solve maths problems, they don't think about maths problems, that's very unusual apparently.
Isn't that interesting?
It's quite
I'm
odd.
not a mathsy person anyway, but I think I could probably agree with that too.
Yeah. So you don't normally dream about maths then?
No, and I think I'd be very worried if I did, that's for sure.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining me today, Cate.
My pleasure, Melinda, and thank you for asking me again.
So, do you wake up tired? Maybe your dreams are responsible. I hope to have Cate back in with us in a few weeks to talk about what's happening in the news.
Hello, this is Aileen and I love Keppel FM 91.3.
Next up, from 1993, we've got Jimmy Barnes and Tina Arena on vocals with Joe Bonamassa on guitar. The song is Stone Cold and it was written by Don Walker of Cold Chisel fame.
sleeping. I said the words you know are true. I'm stone cold in love with you. Yes, I am.
Turn the light on. Ain't had more than just a few. I'm stone cold in love with you. Yes, I am.
Wonder why now. Look at all the things you've been to me. I built my whole life on the sweet foundation you've given. Baby, you know what I mean. I left my friends back in the pool. They'll still be drowning out the blues, yeah. And I'm stone cold in love with you. Oh yeah, yes I am.
Yes, I am.
Come on. I'm stone cold in love with you.
At More Eyes Optometrists in the Cedar Park Shopping Centre, Karangabar, seeing well never looks so good. That's the motto of Tom and Fiona Moore, and that's where you'll find not only quality eye care but a huge range of eyeglasses from the best brands in the world. Your eyewear is seen by others and is part of your personality. So let More Eyes at Cedar Park help give you healthy eyes and a style to match. More Eyes, a proud sponsor of Keppel FM.
Regal's Dental in Yeppoon have provided general, preventative and cosmetic dentistry to Livingston families for more than 20 years. Our dentists are committed to looking after the appearance of your teeth and can perform a range of oral health procedures for all members of the family, including cleaning, examinations and implants. We custom fit mouthguards and dentures and can also help treat patients experiencing snoring problems and sleep apnea. Ring 49392548 for more information. Station sponsor, Regal's Dental. You smile, we smile.
Carol's going to be in just a moment to talk about what's happening at U3A this week. U3A runs all over the world, but our little group is run by and for the retirees of the Capricorn Coast. Anyone who's retired is most welcome to join the activities, which range from the layback and passive through to the thought-provoking, mentally challenging and, well, just plain fun. Thanks so much for joining me today, Carol.
Hello again, Melinda.
And what's happening at U3A this week?
For the week 15th through to the 19th of July. And this week is a bit special in that we start a new activity this week. But I'll explain more about that a bit later. So just to run through what's on the different days. So today, Monday the 15th, we have book club at 10:15, Scrabble at 1 o'clock, and Cards 500 at 3 o'clock. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we have railway technology. On Wednesday, 17th, as usual, we have Mahjong at 8:30 and record a group at 11:30. And then on Thursday, we have the new activity of ukulele. And on Friday, that's the 19th, it's our general meeting, which starts at 9:30. Ukulele. So this is about people who've never played the ukulele before who would like to learn. We have got somebody who is offering to teach. So any U3A members or even non-U3A members who would like to join and learn to play the ukulele, just get in touch. You can find out how to contact us either on our website or you can email u3acapcoast@gmail.com.
We don't hear very much about book club. Can you tell us something about perhaps the last book that the group read?
We started out by discussing a book called The Arsonist by Chloe Hooper, which was published in 2018, and it was the real true life story of the documentation of the case built by the police for tracking down and prosecuting the person who deliberately lit a fire which became known as the Churchill Fire in the Latrobe Valley on Black Saturday in 2009. And as we all know, the fires at that time in that area were absolutely devastating, with dozens of lives lost. And to add to the saga of this story, the person found responsible for lighting this fire was called Brendan Sokoluk, and he was actually autistic. And so the book follows the the investigation, the prosecution, the defence, the trial in court, and the outcome. And this was a book that all of the group really enjoyed. I use that word enjoyed to mean really that we engaged with it, because some of us agreed that reading the impact statements and the statements made to the police during the investigation were utterly harrowing words. But yes, we all agreed it was an excellent book, and it is the book that I think has probably scored highest amongst all the ones we have read so far. And interestingly, it scored consistently across the group, a very narrow range of scores. And if you want to know what the scores were and the review of that book, you can find them on the U3A CapCoast website.
And you can find the website by Googling U3A CapCoast and looking for the Google Sites page. And if you're retired, or maybe your mum or dad have retired and they're looking for something to do, you can get in touch with U3A by dropping into the community centre in John Street, Yeppoon, next to the library, or by emailing U3A at u3acapcoast@gmail.com. They'd love to hear from you. Little River Band had a hit with this song written by lead singer Glenn Shorrock in 1979. Here they are with Cool Change.
If there's one thing in my life that's missing, it's the time that I spend alone, sailing on the cool and bright clear waters. There's lots of those friendly people, they're showing me ways to go, and I never want to lose their inspiration. Time for a cool change. I know that it's time for a cool change. Now that my life is so prearranged, I know that it's time for a cool change. Well, I was born in the sign of water, and it's there that I feel my best. The albatross and the whales, they are my brothers. It's kind of a special feeling when you're out on the sea alone, staring at the full moon like a lover. Time for a cool change. I know that it's time for a cool change. Now that my life is so prearranged, I know that it's time for a cool change. Well, I've never been romantic, and sometimes I don't care. I know it may sound selfish, but let me breathe the air. If there's one thing in my life that's missing, it's the time that I spend alone, sailing on the cool and bright clear waters. It's kind of a special feeling when you're out on the sea alone, staring at the full moon like a lover. Time for a cool change. I know that it's time for a cool change. Now that my life is so prearranged, I know it's time for a cool change. 'Cause people telling me wherever I go, it's time for a cool change. I know it's time for a cool change. Now that my life is so prearranged, I know it's time for a cool change. Yes it is, yes it is, yes it is. You know it's time for a cool change. Oh yeah, yeah. A cool change.
Emu Park Meats gives you fresh quality meats at great prices, starting with an amazing range of gourmet sausages plus grass-fed hormone-free beef, the best seafood in the park, and all delivered free. They'll help you serve up perfect Sunday lamb or fire up a great barbecue. Just check out their Facebook page for this week's specials and drop into the shop at 22 Hill Street, Emu Park. Keppel FM sponsor Emu Park Meats. Phone 0488 520 228.
Meals on Wheels in Yeppoon is desperately seeking additional volunteers to assist us in helping the frail older people and younger people with disabilities who rely on our service. We need help with both preparing meals in our new Yeppoon kitchen and delivering them to our clients in an area from Farnborough to Emu Park and west to Bundula. If you can help us provide this valuable community service, 4939 2477.
Looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle that suits your budget? Then visit Carways Auto Wholesale. They have hatches and sedans to four-wheel drives with a warranty and price that will surprise you. All cars are workshop checked and prices are drive away, no more to pay. Carway is a family business locally owned and operated by Wayne and Karen O'Connor. Call Wayne on 0412 892 536. Carways Auto Wholesale, 9 Charles Street, Yeppoon. Proud station sponsor of Keppel FM 91.3. Your voice on the Capricorn Coast.
You're listening to Coffee and a Chat on 91.3 Keppel FM. My name's Melinda. We're going to take a short diversion into words today. One of my favourite YouTubers is a guy called Rob, who has a YouTube channel called Rob Words. And if you're interested in the origins of words and language, check him out. Rob Words. Now, I was watching one of his videos the other day, and he was talking about the influence of the Vikings on modern-day English. And of course, the Vikings famously invaded England in 793 in a raid on Lindisfarne on the northeast coast of England. And the final invasion came just over 200 years later in the Battle of 1066, recorded in the Bayeux Tapestry. Enough of that. Words. English wouldn't be English without the Vikings, without their violent raids, and without the intermarriage that followed. We can thank the Vikings for words like skirt and shirt, for violent words like slaughter, ransack, club, knife, and even berserk. Any words that begin with SK are likely to be Viking words, and here we think of words like sky, skull, skill, skirt. In fact, the original SC words of the Viking Norse language split at some point into either SH or SK words, and so we have skirt and shirt, which originally meant the same thing, and even words like shabby and scabby were originally the same word. A lot of our pronouns come from Norse. In fact, all of the TH pronouns, them, their and they, which were originally him, he and hera in Old English, but converted to the Norse th versions. And there are still well over 1,000 words in modern English that can be traced directly back to the Vikings. Your name may even go back to the Vikings. For example, if it ends in son, S-O-N, like Anderson or Peterson, you will have a Viking lurking somewhere in your family tree. Apparently there's one in my family tree. Vikings, you've got to love them. The myth, the legend, the language. We're living in a fabulous part of the world here on the Capricorn Coast. I ventured downtown and asked people what they like about it. Favourite coffee shop?
When it comes down to like coffee and smoothie shops, Chapter is fantastic. Also Juice Monkey is fantastic.
So Sally, can you tell me what's your favourite coffee shop in the area?
Well, there are a few coffee shops, but I must say Citrus to me stands out.
And what about coffee shops? What do you reckon?
There's so many good ones here in town. I tend to mix it up. I really like Jolt, and the Rocks is good.
Mel, what's your favourite restaurant?
Hands down, that would be the Happy Sun, Melinda.
So Sarah, can you tell me what's your favourite restaurant in the area?
My favourite restaurant that I've been to in the last 12 months would be Alfie's along the Esplanade.
What's your favourite restaurant, Carol?
Most of the places that I go to, I go for lunch rather than evening meals. So for lunch, beaches.
And favourite beach?
Oh, that's easy. That would be Farnborough Beach, because it goes for miles and miles and miles.
What about a favourite beach?
Well, I do a lot of walking on Lammermoor Beach, and I probably picked up shells and just walk along there with rocks and just love it.
What's the best thing about the CapCoast?
I think the people. Everyone we've met has been friendly and it's just a lovely atmosphere.
So what's your favourite thing about Yeppoon?
We find that the people here are just so friendly. They will bend over backwards to help. If shopkeepers don't have what you want, they will bend over backwards to actually point you in the right direction. We find everybody is incredibly helpful and friendly, and we love that.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Haven't you ever wanted to sail around the world? That was Split Ends from 1982 with 6 months in a leaky boat. You've been listening to Coffee and a Chat on 91.3 Keppel FM, your voice on the coast. Thanks for tuning in today. You'll find Coffee and a Chat right here every Monday at 10 a.m, or catch a repeat at 2 p.m. on Tuesday or 10 a.m. on Wednesday. My name's Melinda, and I'll see you next week.
Family time in the pool, and that's where you need Poolworks at 26 Tanby Road, Yeppoon. Poolworks not only delivers a complete range of chemicals and equipment to keep your pool healthy, but also supplies regular pool services and green pool cleanups. So before you dive into your pool, dive into poolworks.com.au or ring 4939 3000. Poolworks, a healthy sponsor of Keppel FM 91.3.
You love building with Lego? Then join the guides at Playabilities with the largest collection of Legos on the CapCoast. It's playtime on Fridays and Saturdays from 9 to 5 in Workshop C at the Livingstonshire Council Community Centre, John Street, Yeppoon. It's loads of fun for young and old. See you there.
Are you tired? Do you snore? If you suffer from lack of energy, mood swings, headaches or depressed mood, you may suffer from sleep apnea. The good news is you can do something about it. At Yeppoon Day and Night Pharmacy, James Street, we specialise in sleep. We offer easy at-home sleep testing and stock a full range of CPAP machines, masks and consumables to suit your needs. So for a good night's sleep, come in and see Brianna at Yeppoon Day and Night Pharmacy, James Street, a proud sponsor of Keppel FM 91.3.